YouTube, this is Swifty2606 and welcome to today's video. Now I know the game has literally just been released here in the UK and I hope you're all having fun playing it so far, but today I actually wanted to talk about DLC for Battlefield Hardline. Now the first DLC has been confirmed as Criminal Activity, and I've got a few ideas I wanted to share about what this DLC could include. First of all, let's talk about the location. So to think about where you might want this DLC to be based, and I decided England would be the perfect place to have this first DLC featured, because it's my home country. Now there are a few other reasons why I thought England would make a good choice. Let's go through some of the maps that could be featured in this Criminal Activity DLC. Now first of all, the London Underground would make a brilliant map for Criminal Activity. If you can imagine the underground in London, you've got all the long escalators, a lot of the narrow tunnels that lead from the escalators to the tubes, and I think it would make for a really good close quarters infantry based map. Second up, I think a great map would be Buckingham Palace. If you imagine playing on the actual courts of Buckingham Palace, and also, I might get hung for treason for saying this, but we could have a Levolution in there where we get to blow up the front of Buckingham Palace. That would look pretty awesome as a Levolution. But I think playing a map out in Buckingham Palace and kind of that whole area, so you could include maybe Leicester Square in there as well and have that on some of the big conquest maps. That whole area I think would make for a brilliant map in this DLC. The next one you could think of would be something like a London suburb somewhere. Maybe somewhere quite grimy and dirty. Every city has them, but I think that one would be quite good to do. Fairly similar to maybe something like the Block, where you've got some big apartment complexes, or maybe like some really big towers of flats that could make for good routes, etc. And finally, something like Canary Wharf would be a brilliant idea in my opinion. You've got the big financial area of London where all the money is trading every day. I think something like Canary Wharf would fit in perfectly to the theme for Battlefield Hardline. Now something else that I'd like to see in a future DLC would be a new game mode, and I've thought about this quite a lot, and what I would really like to see would be a game mode something like Sabotage from Call of Duty. The two teams are fighting to get to that bomb, and then once you've got that bomb you have to go into the enemy side of the map to plant it and blow up their location. But if you actually manage to kill the bomb carrier, you then pick up that bomb and then head over to their side of the map to go and plant it and explode their base. I used to have a lot of fun playing that game mode in Call of Duty, and I think it would be really good to see it in a Battlefield series. Next up, let's talk about a weapon that could be added into this DLC. And again, this is one that I really gave a lot of thought to, and I eventually came up with something like the HK417, which is actually used by Surrey Police. Bearing in mind this is all taking part in the UK. Now the HK417 uses 7.62 by 51mm NATO rounds, and it shoots around 600 rounds per minute. Now I know that's not really high in OP, but I really like the look of that weapon, and firing that 7.62 rounds probably going to do a fair bit of damage if it was put into a game. So that's my ideas on this DLC. Let me know in the comment section what kind of thing you would like to see, or what you might be expecting from this DLC. It'd be really interesting to see what kind of maps and what game modes and weapons that maybe you could come up with that we could see in this Criminal Activity DLC. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave it a cheeky little thumbs up. And until next time, goodbye!